This regular session of Haltom City Council meeting is now in order. Leading the invocation and pledge of allegiance, Richard Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Will you bow with me in a moment of prayer? Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this system of government that we have, where we could come before the public and do city business. We could do state business, federal business before the public, and make them aware that they have an interest and a stake in everything that we decide. Thank you for the wisdom that you give our citizens and this council and our staff. And I pray, Father, for this fine city of Haltom City. I pray that you'll protect its citizens, and Father, that we as a council, we as staff, will make the decisions that is in the best interest of all involved. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that invocation. And first order of business is a presentation. Mr. Fain, are you? You're gonna
Yeah.
announce it? Okay.
Yeah. Just not paying attention to my agenda, I'm sorry. Mayor and council, I'd like to ask Mr. Ron Harper to come to the podium, and as he does, Mr. Harper is with the Texas Public Works Association, and he's going to be presenting an award to our city engineer and Assistant Director of Public Works, Bennett Howell. Mr. Harper.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, City staff, assembled citizens. My name is Ron Harper. I'm the immediate past president of the Texas chapter of the American Public Works Association. There we go. A brief description of who we are and what we do. The American Public Works Association is comprised of over 28,000 public works professionals throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico. The Texas chapter has over 1,300 members and encompasses the entire state. Each year we identify individuals who have exhibited leadership in the public works field. This year we are honored to recognize your city engineer, Bennett Howell, as a Public Works Leader of the Year. And if I could read from the plaque that he received at our annual conference. 2006 Public Works Leader of the Year, Bennett Howell, P.E. City Engineer, Assistant Public Works Director, City of Haltom City, is hereby recognized as a Public Works Leader of the Year. My dad, we only recognized 2 Public Works Leaders this year within the state for noteworthy achievements in public works and significant contributions to the profession. Texas Chapter, American Public Works Association. So I am honored to Bennett, if you could come up here, I'd like to present this to you again. And again, with our heartfelt appreciation.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank Ron and the Texas Public Works Association for bestowing this honor upon me, and also thank David and Tom and the City Council for allowing me the opportunity to do the job to the best of my ability. And also thank the residences and the businesses for their patience and understanding with what we do. So thank y'all.
And thank you, Bennett, for your good work. Appreciate it. Next, have announcements. Fran, you want to make your way up?
Thank you, Mayor. Oh, gosh. Got a lot of things going on in Haltom City, so I'll try to be as quick as I can. The Tarrant County Health Department has confirmed that a pool of mosquitoes collected in Haltom City has tested positive for West Nile virus. The mosquito pool was collected from a location just north of Northeast Loop 820 in the Hidden Lakes Apartments at 5333 Fossil Creek Boulevard. City crews would have begun spraying this evening, but we found out about a half hour ago that because of high winds, they're going to delay probably until Wednesday the spraying. But when they do, residents are asked to take heed and stay back from the spray unit at least 100 feet if following in a vehicle. Stay indoors while spraying occurs and keep doors and windows closed. And remain indoors and bring your pets inside for 30 minutes after spraying has been completed. But residents can protect themselves and their pets by taking the following corrective actions. Eliminate any object in the yard in which water can pool and serve as a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Drain and clean your rain gutters. Change water in bird baths, wading pools, ornamental ponds at least once a week. Fill in low areas in the lawn and eliminate seepage from septic pools. Don't overwater the lawn or outdoor plants. Keep grass mowed. Stay indoors during peak mosquito activity at dusk and at dawn. Wear long pants and long sleeve shirts. Use repellents with DEET, no more than 30% content for adults and 10% for children. And keep swimming pools chlorinated and don't allow them to stagnate. So basically, protect yourselves, eliminate the, eliminate the breeding grounds for mosquitoes, and stay indoors when mosquitoes are most prevalent. The burn ban is still in effect, and HCPDFT reminds citizens that Tarrant County and Haltom City are still under a burn ban. This includes recreational fires, campfires, fireworks, sparklers, cutting and welding without a special permit from the fire marshal, and discarded smoking materials carelessly. Residents may cook outdoors if they use an approved appliance such as a gas or charcoal grill. Cooking on a hard surface is recommended. It is expected that this ban will last through mid-September. In order to conserve water, there is a new ordinance in place that speaks to outside irrigation, and residents and businesses are no longer allowed to irrigate outdoors from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. every day. Broadcast irrigation during the highest temperatures of the day is against this ordinance and is considered a waste of water. Hand watering during these hours and watering by soaker hoses is acceptable. Residents are also asked to help conserve water by following the 5-day watering schedule, and for details you can check the Haltom City website. Something new at the Senior Center is they are staying open Monday through Friday throughout the summer through the end of August for participants and patrons to eat dinner. Seniors won't have to go home and cook. They can stay at the center and play table games, shoot pool, use the computers, and eat an evening meal. The center is also hosting different activities such as scrapbooking, genealogy, evening computer classes, and free makeover parties during the summertime. Reservations for evening meals may be made by calling the center at 834-8021, and suggested donations per meal is $2, the same as a noon meal. This Friday, July 14th at 2 o'clock, this library will host the finale of the summer reading program. Participants will celebrate their reading accomplishments, and there will be a program about the daily lives of astronauts and what it's like to live in space. Refreshments will be served, and there will be a drawing for a girl's and a boy's bicycle. You must be present to participate in the drawing. A public hearing and open house will take place in our area on Monday, July 17th concerning the Trans-Tex Corridor. The public is invited to review and comment on the recommended preferred corridor plan. The open house will begin at 5 p.m. and the hearing will begin at 6:30 p.m. at the Will Rogers Memorial Center Exhibits Hall, 3400 Tandy Drive in Fort Worth. Northeast Tarrant Reads continues with a presentation by Lou Fincher at 7 p.m. Thursday, July 20th at the Colleyville Center. Fincher is a nationally known hurricane historian, researcher, and consultant. He will give a historical view of the destruction and amazing civic reorganization that followed the devastating Galveston hurricane, described in the novel Isaac's Storm, the book selected for this year's local One Book, One Community project. The library will be closed Thursday, July 20th and Friday, July 21st for staff development. National Night Out kickoff will take place from 3 to 9 p.m. Saturday, July 29th at the Haltom Recreation Center and Broadway Park, and I won't go into details about that because I know we have a citizen that's going to come and give that later on this evening. Tour de Taste, presented by ArtsNet, features fare from 50 different local restaurants and will take place from 5:30 to 9 p.m. Thursday, August 3rd at Northeast Mall. There is a $25 charge to attend unless you volunteer, and for information or to volunteer, you can call ArtsNet at 858-9531. And the last item I have is concerning the library's slogan contest and the writing contest, which both are now complete. And the library was extremely pleased with the participation in both these contests. 65 submissions were accepted in the slogan contest and 180 entries in the writing contest. And the winning slogan is Haltom City Public Library, A World of Information. And this is posted on our website in English, Spanish, and in Vietnamese. And the writing contest, I'm just going to go ahead and read the names because there's so many names. But again, this is going to be posted on the website, and it will appear in our next city newsletter, which will be mailed the 1st of August. Half the people, approximately, came from the city of Haltom City, and half of the entries came from other cities around us. The winners are Kayla Redding, Nicole Oglesby, Vu Pham, Mandy Ball, Nicole Oglesby again, Kayla Bishop, Jamie Crotchton, Lisa Camp, Kesia Dennis, Michael Sellers, Rachel Cox, Rachel Fritz, Brandon Farner, Jamie Crotchton, Lindsay Rogers, Jeff Thatcher, Judy Methvin, Michael Sellers. And so congratulations to all those winners, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Fran. And next, I believe our City Secretary, Ms. Brenda Staub, has an announcement.
Yes, Mayor. I just wanted to take this opportunity to wish our city manager a happy 47th birthday, and I believe Mr. Hutchison has something to...
Yeah, I think if you will join me, folks, we can sing happy birthday to the city manager. I'm going to ask the council to help me out here. I can't sing very well, but we could all do so. So here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tom. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just a word of advice, everybody keep their day jobs, okay?
Mayor, I do have one other
Okay.
thing. I want to remind all the citizens that with their Haltom City does have boards and commissions, and we still are needing some volunteers, and these forms are outside in the lobby, and they're also found on our website. There's a couple of boards that we do have openings on, and if you have any questions, that information is on our website.
Thank you. Okay, we now go to the agenda. The first and second items on the agenda are part of the consent agenda. The item number 3 has been removed from the consent agenda. Consent agenda is considered to be self-explanatory and will be enacted by the council with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless they're removed from the consent agenda. Approval of the consent agenda authorizes the city manager to implement each item in accordance with staff or board recommendations. With that, I'll entertain a motion to dispose. Mr. Cabano.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, that's for a motion to accept the consent agenda as it's presented.
Items 1 and 2.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Reese.
That would be for a second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda items 1 and 2. Is there any discussion? Please register your vote. And that is unanimous. Item 3 on the agenda is park equipment and furnishings. Is Mr. Fowler, you want to come up and give us a little presentation on these? I think these would be of interest to the citizens at large.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for inviting us up here tonight. The items we're talking about, this was approved in the 05-06 budget, this year's budget by the Economic Development Corporation. We're going to purchase, in fact, we're going to purchase 3 new park playground equipments for North Park, Little Fossil Park, and Broadway Park, and then also some park furnishings throughout the city. These will occur after approval before the end of August of this year, so we should start on this immediately afterwards. This is a new update. There's a rock feature. It's called a rock ridge. That will be put up here at Broadway Park, and be the old spider device up there will be removed and a new rock ridge put up there. And then there'll be new playground equipment, and a Mobius, which is a climbing device, will be located at the Little Fossil Park. These are new playground equipment we haven't added in several years, so it's thank you all for helping us out with this. Thank the Economic Development Corporation. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Any questions for Mr. Fowler?
Let me put a point out, and the EDC is funding the most of this, but the Park Dedication Fund is also chipping in some money as well.
Correct. The EDC approved $72,400 of this. The total bill was $81,000. The installation and everything was $81,000. The EDC approved $72,400. The Park Dedication Fund is going to take care of the extra amount, which is approximately $9,000, a little bit under.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? And I'll entertain a motion to dispose. Item number 3. Ms. Reese.
I move to approve the park equipment and furnishings.
And Mr. Sutton.
That'd be for a second, Mayor.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of park equipment and furnishing. Any other discussion? If not, please register your vote. And that is unanimous. Thank you.
Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Mayor, I believe in pre-council we mentioned that they could start this in like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I believe he said that they.
Yeah, he mentioned that.
Yeah, that they'd be finished
Oh,
by mid-August
I
or
missed
something
that.
like
Sorry,
that.
George.
Yeah. Well, if you missed it, somebody else might have too. So now they know. Okay, moving on to item 4. This is a public hearing and resolutions. This is item 4 is a resolution consideration and or action regarding approval amending Article 10, Board of Directors of Articles of Incorporation for the Economic Development Corporation. Mr. Muir, you want to address that?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, what you have before you is a resolution amending the Articles of Incorporation for the EDC. The action the council took at the last meeting, appointing 2 new members, I think it was the general consensus of the council and a lot of the community that we increase the citizen membership on that board. And while the bylaws do allow for that and provide for that, the Articles of Incorporation do not. The Articles of Incorporation specifically state that 4 council members and 3 citizens will be on there. By passing this resolution, this will amend the Articles of Incorporation. It'll bring that more in line with the bylaws. And then we'll be able to proceed with the EDC. The Articles of Incorporation trump anything that the bylaws have. They're on file with the Secretary of State's office in Austin. Upon passage of this resolution, the City Secretary will be forwarding these resolutions, 3 copies of these resolutions, down to Austin for filing with the Secretary of State's office. And if you've got any questions, I'll be more than happy to address them.
Any questions for Mr. Muir? All right. Now this particular resolution is not subject to a public hearing. I'll go ahead and, since it's under the heading here, I'll go ahead and ask anybody. Does anybody have any comments about this they want to make publicly? Mr. Eklund, please identify yourself, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Ray Eklund. I live at 2532 Oakwood Terrace. This may seem like a bit of housekeeping to most of the public, but I think it's a good idea to bring forth this change. I would like to encourage the council to pass it. I'm sure you will. But moving the majority to the citizens, as the city manager mentioned, has been a concern to a lot of us that advocate open government here, in that before we had a majority of the EDC, which is a separate corporation from the city, were also represented a majority on the council. So, for example, years ago, the EDC made a loan to the council, to the city. I'm not sure that those of us who voted for the EDC many years ago really thought we were going to be in the banking business. We thought we were going to be in the park improvement business. We thought we were going to be in the library improvement business. We thought a lot of things. And what we heard tonight from the park director was a good idea as well. I'll address that later. But right now, getting 4 citizen members on there, I think, is an important improvement to the EDC. I've been called a critic and many other things regarding the EDC, but truly, I'm looking, as most people are that care, for improvement. And this will be a good improvement to have more voices of more citizens and have the council members take a directorship, but not necessarily a majority on the board. So I would like to encourage the council to vote for this. I would like to encourage the citizens to learn more about the EDC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Eklund. Anyone else? Mr. Watkins, please
Bob
identify
Watkins,
yourself.
6140 Blue Spruce Circle. As y'all all know, I think this is a wonderful idea. I would like to differ with something that Mr. Eklund said. Although there were a voting majority of the council on the EDC, that was not in turn a voting majority of the council, as the mayor couldn't vote up here. So it was actually only 3 to 4. It could have gone the other way. It didn't in 10 years, but it could have. I also have I've mentioned this several times when it had to do with other things, different boards and commissions and the council. Whether I voted for y'all or not, whether I agree with things or not, I believe y'all are citizens. And I think there ought to be some kind of I'm sure there is, it just hasn't come to me in the weeks that I've been really thinking about this, but to say that we're changing it to 4 citizens and 3 elected officials is there's something wrong with the terminology there, because all of y'all are well, I don't think the attorney lives in Haltom City, but all of y'all are citizens, and I think there should probably be another term for what everybody always says. But anyway, I think it's a great idea. It's this, along with the change in the crime control, or whatever that name of that board is, I think it brings us in line. This does bring us in line with state. State says maximum of 4, and ours has always said that there had to be 4. So I think it's a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If I can add something
sure.
real quick, what this resolution will do, while it brings it in conformance with the bylaws, when the corporation was first organized in 1995, the council, or the people who created it, stipulated the 4 council members and 3 citizens. And it may have been try to bring that into compliance with the Development Corporation Act of 1979. What this change will do, while it allows for other citizen members to be on there, it doesn't preclude it if future councils want to go back to a 4 council membership on that board. They will be able to do that even with these changes to the Articles of Incorporation. It's just simply stating that at least 3 have to be citizens. It doesn't make any reference to council members having to be on there, although the state law does stipulate that no more than 4 can be on there. So if the future councils want to go back to what it was, they can do that without revisions to the Articles of Incorporation or to the bylaws.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Any discussion? Yeah, Mr. Sutton.
Thanks. Went back and researched the Articles of Incorporation, talked to some people that were there at the time on why we had 4 council members on there and 3 citizens. And one of the predominant reasons given was that people wanted important boards and commissions to be populated by people that were accountable to people in the city. In other words, if you're appointed to something and you're not elected to something, in a sense, you're not accountable to the people that are there. And so some of the thinking back then was that the number of people that should be on there should be heavily weighted toward those that were actually accountable to the electorate in the city. In talking with a lot of those people, they recognize that that's a minor point. It's not something that's a driver, and I support this change also, to give the council and future councils flexibility to determine how that EDC should be done the best for the maximum benefit for the citizens of Haltom City. So I thought that'd be interesting that was my research in it, and I thought it might be interesting for y'all to know that too.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Any questions or discussions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to dispose. Ms. Branson.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that we approve Resolution R2006-01601.
And Mr. Sutton.
Thank you. That'd be for a second.
Mr. Hutchinson. Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution changing the Articles of Incorporation of the EDC. Any further discussion before we take a vote? If not, please register your vote. And that is unanimous. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is regarding a final plat. This is a public hearing. And James, you ready to take it over?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, citizens of Haltom City. Tonight's public hearing is a replat of developed and undeveloped property, therefore the need for the public hearing. Again, we're conducting a public hearing in consideration and/or action regarding the application for final plat of lots 3R1R and 3R2R, Block 1 of the Gray Edition, being a replat of lots 3R1 and 3R2 in the C2 Commercial Zoning District, which contains approximately 1.574 acres of land and locally known as 6370 and 6374 North Beach. This is actually near the intersection of Western Center and Beach. The applicant is replatting the property to abandon the 35-foot access easement located on the north side of Lot 3R2R and incorporate a 35-foot access easement into the south end of Lot 3R1R. This Lot 3R1R has an existing commercial structure. You know of it as an animal hospital there along Beach Street. Lot 3R2R, there's a lot of R's in here, is currently undeveloped and will be on the site for a proposed restaurant. And this site plan is incorporated with the plat tonight. The plat was recommended for approval to the City Council by the Planning and Zoning Commission on their May 23, 2006 meeting. The delay to City Council was to verify drainage for this new proposed development. So therefore, I formally submit for your review 11 by 17 copy of said replat, proposed site plan for this Chinese food restaurant, and the drainage that the engineering worked on and the developer worked on into an agreement since it does drain into one of the creeks of the city. And Mr. Brian Leggett is here to represent the property owner should council have any questions.
Thank you, James. Does council have any questions for Mr. Pliska? Thank you. Yeah, yes.
One
yes,
real
Ms.
quick
Sutton.
one. We didn't bring this out in pre-council, but this is going to continue to open up access for further development south of this lot too.
That is correct. There will be some other undeveloped properties that can be accessed through this. And that's, again, is the switching of these access easements is to accommodate the increased traffic
Right. Okay.
for that area.
Okay,
Yes,
thanks.
sir.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Pliska?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Leggett, do you care to make a comment before we go to the public hearing? You just be available for answering questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you. This is a public hearing then. Do we have any comments or questions from the audience, from the public? If not, I'll close the public hearing. And any other discussion before we seek a motion to dispose? If not, we'll take a motion. Mr. Holcomb.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve final plat number P-006-06.
And Ms. Branson.
That would be for a second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve final plat P-00606. Any further discussion? Please register your votes. And that is unanimous. Next on the agenda is the Visitor Citizens Forum. This time is set aside for any person having business before the council that is not scheduled on the agenda to speak to the council. Each speaker must limit his or her comments to the subject matter listed on the speaker's request form and must refrain from personal attacks toward any individual. All comments must be directed toward the presiding officer rather than an individual council member or staff. A 3-minute time limit will be granted to those without prior notification. If you've already filled out one of these, you can get 6 minutes. Council cannot discuss or debate any issue brought forth at this time, nor can any formal action be taken, as it is not a posted agenda item in accordance with the Open Meetings Law. Thank you, Madam Secretary. First one out to discuss National Night Out, we have Melinda Smith. Melinda, will you come forward, please?
Hello, Mayor, council members, and citizens of Haltom City. My name is Melinda Smith. I live on Palmer Drive. Right now, I'm the president of the Crime Watch Captains Association of Haltom City, Texas. And the Crime Watch Captains Association is sponsoring the National Night Out Kickoff Picnic. And right now, we're going to have carnival games, silent auction, family games, and tickets to win NASCAR, NRH2O, Texas Rangers, Billy Bob's, Cowtown Speedway, Fort Worth Zoo, Six Flags, Log Cabin Village, Omni Theater, Bass Hall, Fort Worth Museum, and Putt Putt Golf. And also, you can win a dinner at Oscar's, Risky's, Saltgrass, Shady Oaks Barbecue and Grill, Golden Corral, and JDD Backyard Barbecue. We're really needing volunteers for this function, and if you're interested, just call me, Melinda Smith, again, 817-676-8114, or also you can call the Haltom City Police Department at 817-222-7000. And thank you.
Thank you.
As she goes to sit down, and you can go ahead and sit down, I'm very impressed with what you're planning to do. And the police department is very excited about what you're doing. I'm kind of stunned with what the citizens are undertaking on their own. So
you've been busy. That's a long list of
you've got a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
Very impressive. Thank you. Next is Bill Journay. Mr. Journay, will you come forward and identify yourself?
Thank you, Council. My name is Bill Journay. I live at 4729 Nadine, and this is about the Belknap corridor. I read about this in the newspaper this weekend. This project is brought to us even through the press as a way to draw others to us, especially the business community. Yet some see this as little more than a facade to hide our multitude of sins. Some of our citizens are left to feel like underfed, well-milked cows, or better yet, rather than present us as proud and progressive with skeletons in our closet, let us present ourselves as safe and free city. Or would you view this as any great importance as a drawing card? What if we could boast of children who didn't have to walk to school with their parents or watched by police during their school day? What if visiting and prospective business and citizens discovered that there were no speed bumps in Haltom City or no neighborhood suggesting them? What if people visiting Haltom City for whatever reason discovered that no one's private property will ever be compromised for the sake of dollars or government projects, like facades. What if they discovered that accidents, robberies, especially the fatal ones, were down recognizably below those of surrounding cities? What if we had a nice 24-hour restaurant, drugstore, or grocery store, and people were not afraid to patronize these places at any hour? Better yet, why would we want a facade that would attract people perhaps for all the wrong reasons? Or maybe I'm on the wrong page. Maybe a corridor redo on Belknap is all we need to attract the kind of people and business that we seek, those who will behave properly. It is of great importance in a republic not only to guard against oppression of its rulers, but to guard against one part of society against the injustice of the other part. Alexander Hamilton. Society attacks early when individuals are helpless. "Would you come into my corridor?" said a spider to a fly. "'Tis the prettiest little quarter that you ever did spy." Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnny. Is there anyone else would like to speak? Yes, sir. Come forward.
My name is Henry Wright, 5076 San Giuseppe. Mayor, council, staff. Mine is very short tonight. I noticed tonight, just before I came down here, about the West Nile problem that we have on television. They were talking about it pretty muchly, where it is. I know just about exactly where that is, but it's very close to the park. It's very close to where our kids play. It's very close to where the school is. And most of the people up in that area now, they walk at night after sunset. I know we're going to do some spraying tomorrow night, and we hope this takes care of the problem. But in the meantime, I think the people, the citizens, should be made aware and know that there is a possibility on that park that they're playing in, the little kids are playing in, that there is a possibility of mosquitoes with West Nile disease. Just like Richard Sutton, he had his children. If he knows there's West Nile disease there, do you want your children playing? So my thought is this. I think it would be to the city's advantage and to the citizens' advantage to post signs around that Big Fossil Creek that there may be some problems with mosquitoes from West Nile disease. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Yes, Mr. Moore, come forward, please. Identify yourself.
I'm Jim Moore, 4917 Medela. I'd just like to clarify, give an explanation why there was an announcement earlier about a birthday, and I can't direct it to any individual, but the reason I didn't bring a cake was because the vast amount of candles it would require to represent these the years that
We
go
do have a
along
burn
with that,
ban, yes,
that
you're
we
right.
still have a burn ban, and I'd get a ticket from the fire department. So I just like to offer that explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.
We certainly appreciate respect of the law from our citizens. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, please come forward.
You spell your name with two O's, right?
My name is Lauren Muir, and I live at 5700 Round Rock, and everybody beat me to it, but I was wanting to tell my dad happy birthday.
Okay. Thank you, Lauren. Any other?
Thank you, Peanut.
Any other business before the council for the Visitors Citizens Forums? Mr. Eklund, please come forward.
My name's Ray Eklund. I live at 2532 Oakwood Terrace. I have 3 minutes The Belknap study was funded by the EDC. I'm very happy to see the EDC is designed to better our community underneath the constraints of the law of the EDC. That, I believe, will be good dollars spent from those funds. Mr. Jornet mentioned crime and things along Belknap. I'm a longtime student of success. I used to go downtown Fort Worth and step over the drunks to go to school at night many, many years ago, in the exact same place where Sundance Square is booming right now. That was done by push from the EDC, I mean, not the EDC, Ed Bass and those people, and a vision. And I call it a three-legged stool. But the first part of that stool is security. It doesn't matter if you have the best store in the world, the best prices, or the best product, if people are scared to come to your store. So as we move forward with making Haltom City better, particularly along this one corridor, I believe the first step is security. So as the security is stepped up down there and the other improvements come into play, I think we too will see success here in Haltom City, just as our neighbors to the west, one of the 10 best cities in the country. I would like to say that the EDC and the council did a good thing by spending $74,000 on park equipment. Okay? That was a good move for our community and making our community better. So those are things I think are important, and we're moving in the right direction. Okay? So as a citizen that cares and that has a long time history here and hope to stay here a long time, I think it may be small steps, but we're moving in the right direction. And it has to do with studies and crime and the Crime Watch National Night Out. This is, in fact, going to be a big deal. These people work really hard. I've had the pleasure of sitting in a couple of their meetings so far. I would like to encourage all the citizens to stop by. They meet regularly on Wednesday evenings at 6:30 to organize this thing. The council members and the support of the staff would be very helpful. And that is one of the first steps to making our town better. Citizens-led crime prevention and the idea that we can all make our neighborhood better one block at a time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other, anyone else want to address the council under the Citizens Forum? If not, no, nobody else wants to wish you a happy birthday. It's that. I do have a request for a brief break here before we take up the rest of the agenda. So I'll call for a break, and we'll meet back in here at 7:55 according to this clock right here. That's about 6 minutes from now.